Hey everybody, welcome back to Dental Unfiltered. I'm Matt Brown. I'm here with my normal co-host, Dr. Andrew Vallo. Today we have a pretty spicy episode. There's always positive and negative feedback for Dental Unfiltered. We've had negative feedback that's like, hey, tell Matt to shut up and not interrupt Dr. Vallo. We've had negative feedback that's like, can you get Dr. Vallo to stop talking about himself the whole time? Because you can't please everybody, right? This episode is titled The Walmart of Dentistry. It's pretty common, in the dental marketplace that a dentist in the community starts to get real aggressive with marketing, and another dentist either turns him into the board or writes him a nasty letter or criticizes him. And, it's kind of really counterproductive. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Everyone gets so aggressive about this stuff. And Dr. Vallo just had Instagram DM basically telling him he should be ashamed of himself. And in context, Doc Vallo is going to end this year with 7 or 8 startups total that he owns. Just a few years, pretty successful dental group. And the guy is a thought leader in the industry. And this person told me he should be ashamed of himself and that he's the Walmart of dentistry. Sometimes what gets the consumer behavior and what the consumer wants to consume isn't always what we think it should be. And the consumer's behavior dictates what works and what doesn't work. It's not Doc. Like, Doc Vallo to sit down and design his ads and say, this is the one we're going to run. There's a lot of data behind it, and it's kind of driven by data. So he got attacked and kind of accosted on Instagram over some of his ads. And I'm curious what Doc has to say about this. Go ahead, Andrew. How first of all, what did you feel the moment you read it? So listen, I know we had a similar incident involving clear aligners in Tampa. We won't get into it. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And where a doc attacked you over clear aligners, right? And it's like you open your Instagram and you see, like, in the preview, you see some word. What's the first thing you feel when you get that attacking email or that attacking Instagram message?
I mean, honestly, Matt, it was just like, wow. like wow is it, like, first of all, it was like, who is this person? And what
There's never anyone you really know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's people who don't even know me. I don't even know them. But, unfortunately, if you're making people upset, then it probably means you're doing something right. And you're making a splash in the industry. And unfortunately, I've had these conversations with Dr. Mark Costas before, and he's had a lot of that same hate in, his area of the country as he built his dental group. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that just don't like to see success. They don't like to see other successful people, and they feel like if they're growing that fast, if they're that successful, they must be doing something wrong. They must be doing something immoral or unethical. Meanwhile, I built this dental group that has, 4.9 out of 5 stars at like every single office. My flagship, we've got over 1,800 5-star reviews. I mean, we put patient experience first. We put quality of dentistry first. And we're able to help a lot of people, especially with some of these specials that we run. I was a little bit taken aback. And I mean, the ironic part about it is, like, I don't even normally read my Instagram messages. My executive assistant, who's my brother, actually, he answers. I mean, I get like thousands of these Instagram messages every single month from prospective patients, because we do a lot of advertising on Instagram. So it's my brother typically answering these messages, but every once in a while I'll open it up and I'll just take a look at, what's going on, or I'll maybe audit some stuff and, see if there's things that, him and I need to talk about or he has questions about. I happen to open this message, from this doc. It was basically like, you should be ashamed of your advertising. You are the Walmart of dentistry. You cheapen our industry, blah, blah, blah. And so I responded. I was like, wow, do you even know who you're talking to? Like, who are you? That type of a thing. So I clicked on his profile. I figured out who it is. It's an oral surgeon in Tampa, Dr. Michael Barbic. I don't know him. I've never even heard of him. I asked, a few of the docs I know, and some of them knew him and kind of said, he's not the nicest guy. And so maybe it makes sense. But like the craziest part to me is I'm sitting here thinking, like, this guy's an oral surgeon. He's not even a general dentist. He's not having to advertise direct to consumer. Typically, oral surgeons are not advertising direct to consumer. They're getting referrals from docs. He's not really truly even my competition. Like, yeah, okay, I have some implant offices, but that's not, I don't even advertise implants on Instagram normally. It's more veneers and Invisalign. And that was the ad that he had actually responded to an ad, with this message. And it was for either veneers or Invisalign. And I'm thinking like, again, not even really this guy's competition. I guess maybe a little bit with implants, but not with the advertising that he's responding to. Not to mention, specialists get their referrals from general dentists. And like, here I am about to open my 7th office. He just guaranteed that there's 7 offices that aren't referring to him. Like, that blew my mind more than anything. Like, if I'm a specialist, I want to make every general dentist out there, like me. I want everyone to want to refer to me. I would never go out on a limb to try to attack a general dentist and give them reason to not refer to me. It was a pretty interesting interaction there. And I won't go down the rabbit hole of, exactly where the conversation went. But, essentially, long story short, I told him, like, listen, it's capitalism. That's what's great about our country. Everybody is welcome to advertise as they see fit. I'm sorry if you don't like it, that type of a thing. Not to mention Walmart, they make like $650 billion a year in revenue. So I guess at the end of the day, like, maybe it really truly wasn't an attack. Maybe it was a compliment.
I think it's weird for me because like I was involved in a dental board investigation like 3 years ago in the Dakotas, and it was over marketing. And it was a bunch of docs in this one town in the Dakotas got together and went after this one doc that was my client, and he won the board investigation. And one of I believe he acquisitioned the practice and then got real aggressive. And he took this practice, this individual, I'm still in a lot of contact with him. He took the practice from $140,000 a month in collections to like $500,000 a month in collections in like 24 months. He like grew the practice, right? So on one side, it's like, oh, that's, it's dirty, salesy dentistry. On the other side, he's helping way more people than were getting helped before, right? Like you're bringing people to dentistry, right? And his office manager had a problem with it. And she left and went to one of these other docs' practices, and these docs and where this office manager got together basically and started this board investigation, went to the board about it. And we were in the clear. We were fine. We fit all the regulations. We know everything's good, right? But what I don't understand is like a doc is struggling doing 50, 80,000 a month in collections. They really want to be that $200,000 a month doc, and $80,000 a month in collections is respectable. You know what I mean? As long as you build your margins properly and you're controlling your overhead, you should make a good living, right? But they hear like these $200,000, $300,000 a month collections numbers, and then they start hating on those guys, because they can't be them, right?
Yep.
And I almost feel bad because what you really like. So I don't know this oral surgeon, right?
I don't know him either.
I feel a little bit bad for him because maybe he just hasn't been successful in his market at all, and you showed up and expanded like weeds. I mean, really fast, and he's like, he feels either left out or like inadequate or not able to make it happen like you did. A GP moved in and started doing all this arch work. The GP doesn't even do the arch work. Like you don't do any. Like you have zero implant ability, and you own 2 implant practices that are really successful, right?
Yeah.
And like it's almost like people let it eat them up inside, and it's like instead of like messaging you and being attackive and being, I mean, like, listen, what productive positive thing comes out of that Instagram message? Nothing. Right. When he could have contacted you and say, dude, is this how you did it? Like who's doing this for you? Like, do they do oral surgeons? Now at our company, we don't work with oral surgeons. It's a hard model. Right. But like, I think like people put a standard of like what they think a dentist should be professionally. And I think that it's not, and no one's the same. Like everyone's different. Like what people want out of their practice is different. Their approach to wanting to help people is different. A lot of docs think that corporate dentistry shouldn't exist. We know, Bob D hates corporate dentistry, right? We see him at events and we listen to Bob D talk all the time. He's a great, super smart guy. Hates corporate dentistry, right? But like on the side though, it's like, but what if they're helping more people? Like your marketing, right? And I'm his marketer, so I can speak to this. Your marketing is 80% fee for service that comes into the practice from that. And it's usually people that have a lot of work in their mouths because they haven't been a dentist in 10 years.
Yeah.
So your marketing drove somebody to get over their fear, get to the chair and seek the help they've needed for 10 years and get, $20,000, $15,000 in work done. Is that really bad?
Well, no. And I think you're right, Matt. I think a lot of our patients that are coming in from our marketing, it's not that we're taking them from another dental office. It's that they weren't going anywhere. So
they're going zero.
We're exactly. So it's like, it's not like less patients for him. It's these were the people that weren't going to the dentist, but with good marketing, we're drawing them into the practice with good pricing and things like that. So they're getting dental care. Whereas if it wasn't for this marketing, they wouldn't be getting any dental care at all. But I think, the bigger issue comes down to mindset, and it's that theme we always talk about: abundance versus scarcity mindset. And, I think Dr. Barbic, unfortunately, has a very scarcity, minded. It's a shame because you're right. I freely share my tactics, my strategies, my protocols, my systems, my marketing. I gladly share that with anybody. I post about it in Facebook group. I share it on the podcast. People reach out to me. So you're absolutely right. Had he sent me a message and been like, hey man, like, it looks like you're doing some awesome stuff. Like, how do you do your marketing? Who does your marketing? What's working for you? I would have been happy to share that information with him. I think, again, at the end of the day, it comes down to kind of that old school, scarcity mindset that I feel like dentists used to have. And that's just like, for years, dentists really couldn't market.
Oh, that's a new concept.
Marketing is a newer concept. I know some docs that have gone into smaller towns, and obviously Tampa's not a small town, and there's a million dentists, and most of them are advertising in some form or another. But, I know docs that have gone into smaller towns where it's all these old school docs who have never marketed before. And all of a sudden, this new doc comes into town and starts marketing, and people get really upset with them. So, this isn't a foreign concept. I'm sure some of our listeners have gone through this as well. Obviously, getting a message like that is not going to slow me down. It's not going to give me pause about marketing. I take pride in the marketing we do. It's effective. It gets patients in the door. It helps patients out. It's not misleading. And at the end of the day, we're marketing for a great beneficial service that we stand behind. So, the quality of our dentistry is top notch. Our reviews, back that up. And we're not, in an industry, like, we're not marketing for alcohol and cigarettes. Like, we're marketing for better dental health.
We're giving back smiles.
Yes.
There are more smiles on earth. So this is something I take a lot of pride in. My wife, I'm in front of this desk all day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Guys, if you don't, I'm in front of my desk all day. And I'm on Zoom calls all day long with docs and clients and stuff. My wife asked me, what about Energize is really exciting to you? And all of our practices across the country, which we have a ton, every day I can go look and see how many more smiles were added to Earth that day or repaired on Earth that day through our marketing. And that's really rewarding. Like, that's helping people. Like, what's better than helping people, right? Here's a question, Andrew. How expensive was that instant message, that DM, right? So in reality, right, I don't know Doc's numbers. I don't know them. And I'm guessing if he has this scarcity mindset and he's kind of grumpy about this, I guess the best word. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be degrading or anything. He's just grumpy, right?
Yeah.
Instead, if he messaged and was like, hey, could you send me a guide on how to do this? Or like, hey, I'm a collections here. I want to be here. I know you opened up this implant practice 5 miles from mine, and I want to do more. If he had said that, and I'm not saying we would do this for him, but like, I know in my heart, and I think you'll agree with this, if somehow he connected with me and you just outside of 90 days from working with me and you, we'd probably move his collections $30,000 to $50,000 a month without a doubt. Right. Yeah. The question is, like, it's like, how expensive was that Instagram message?
Let's even take that. Let's say you didn't want my help with marketing, but he was, just was like, hey, it looks like you're making a name for yourself in Tampa. And that's awesome. Like, if you ever need a oral surgeon, like, we'd love to take your patients. Like, so here's the thing too, like, at the end of the day, all these different locations, I can't send all of my patients to the same specialist. We do try to keep as much in-house as possible, but there are certain
scenarios you have to.
Certain scenarios where we do have to refer out to specialists. And I'm sure one of my locations is probably convenient to his office. So, whether he wanted my help or not with marketing, had he just taken that approach, he very likely could have, potentially won referrals from one of my offices or, whatever else. So versus guaranteeing that I'm never going to refer a patient to him ever, because the way that he attacked me, I would never want him treating one of my patients like that. So like, unfortunately, it kind of shows your character and who you are. If you're going to attack somebody you don't even know because you don't like the way that they market. So, unfortunately, that just sealed the door that no matter how many practices I have, I'll find another oral surgeon to refer to. So
dentists love to attack each other. Like, I get in these Facebook groups, and it's like somebody puts up a picture of a partially impacted bony wisdom tooth, and he's trying to take it out. He's asking for advice, and it seems like the comments, rather than advice, is like half of them are like, you shouldn't be doing that. Call your local specialist. So what are you doing? And it's like, it's like people are territorial over modalities of treatment. and like, I'm the specialist, I should be doing that. But I think we're losing track of the mission here. The mission is to help the patient, right? And if you have the skill set and you can confidently do it, not put the patient in danger, you can do it in the environment they're familiar with, your own practice, it's more beneficial to keep them in-house than to send them out. Because, guys, I have the data for this. When you refer to a specialist and it's a lot of work and the person already has dental anxiety, it's like an 80% chance they're not going. They're just not going to see them again. And it's like, you know, I think we were talking to me and Sasha about your practices, and Sasha was referring back to one of your practices, and they went through all the referrals, and like out of 63 showed up or something like that. It was some stupid number, right? Consumers today don't want to go to multiple locations. They just don't. It's better to have the specialist come in your practice than for you to send them out to the practice, right? So specialists get all funky about it, and they're like, well, he shouldn't be doing that. Well, why don't you go to him and be like, hey, listen, I'll come to your practice and do it in your practice if you have these things in place I need, and we can handle this, take care of it together, and then everyone's involved. And if it's a scenario where you need that person, they come in. When the negative happens, then no one wants to work with anyone.
Right.
And then patient benefit at all from the local oral surgeon and the local implant GP not wanting to work together. Like, no one benefits from that. It's a negative thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of divides in dentistry. I think there's divides between GP and GP where they feel like, you know, they're each other's competition. And again, like that's the message I would have more expected from a GP who felt like I was stepping on their toes with my marketing and stealing their patients. But there's divide between specialists and GPs. And I mean, here's what I'll say about that. I mean, I know some great specialists. I'm good friends with some amazing specialists. Just being a specialist doesn't necessarily mean that they're better at a procedure than a GP, though. I would bet my house that our super GP implant docs are better surgeons than some of these specialists in town. I mean, the work that they do is incredible. With the training and experience that I've had with Invisalign, I know without a doubt that I do a better job with Invisalign than a lot of the orthodontists do in the area. So I actually have patients coming to me from orthodontists to finish their Invisalign treatment. So again, you know, it's not to pick apart specialists and, you know, anything else, but I just think we need to be better about working together. I think we need to be better about not tearing each other down. I think some specialists need to do a better job of not assuming just because someone's a GP that they can't do a good job at that treatment. And, you know, at the end of the day, guys, I think we need more unity in the dental community. And that's what we fight towards. I mean, that's part of this whole podcast is us just trying to pay it forward. I mean, me trying to share any information that I have I want everyone else to win. So, you know, that's that abundance mindset is like, yeah, you know, obviously I want my dental group to be successful, but even dentists in Tampa, I mean, I share this information with local dentists. I don't see other dentists as my competition. You know, I see the newest iPhone, the next vacation, you know, that's what I see as my competition because, you know, patients, they've got to spend their money on something. There's plenty of people out there that need the dentistry done. Even in saturated markets like Tampa, there are plenty of people out there that need the dentistry done that aren't even going to the dentist. And again, that's the whole point of marketing is to draw on those people that don't have a dentist currently. So, you know, I just, again, hats off to people like Dr. Paul Goodman and his Dental Nachos. I mean, his mission every single day is to try to bring dentists closer together.
Oh, 100%. If you say, suck it up, buttercup to another dentist in Paul's group, you're going to get talked to.
Right.
Paul is probably the most positive. Costas might be one of the most important personalities in dentistry, and Paul is too. I think Paul might be the most positive personality in all of dentistry.
Well, and I think even in these Facebook groups, you know, and Dental Town, people are so quick to attack. So you were starting to mention this earlier, but like if a dentist posts a question about a case, like, hey, like, what do you think about this? Or can I do this way? Like you read the first 10 comments, and it's not the same in Paul's group because Paul doesn't let that happen. But in a lot of other groups where there's not the same monitoring, I guess, or not the same philosophy, you read the first 10 comments and like 9 of them are like literally ripping that dentist apart. Like, where did you go to dental school? You know, like you need to go back and take this course again, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe they let you see patients. And then like the last person's like, why is everyone ripping this guy apart? Like, this was just an honest question. Like, here's my helpful answer. So it's like my ask of all of you listening today is be more like that 10th person, you know, rather than being judgmental and like just wanting to rip other dentists apart. Like, just like try to help them out. Sometimes they're younger dentists or first time trying this procedure. You don't know all the background behind the question, but we this should be a safe space. We should be united and we should be there to help each other out. I think we got to take our egos out of it. I think that's the biggest problem. Is I just think so many people let their egos get in the way that they won't just allow themselves to help other dentists out. So
it's one of those things where it's just like no one benefits from it. Like it just isn't beneficial. It really isn't. Like it isn't. Like and I think people go so quick to attack someone else when in reality you should just lift them up, because the reality is like, people always say things like he doesn't know what he's doing, or I had a family friend who was opening a business and his wife just has no faith in the guy. It was really hard to watch, and they came to me to talk to me about it, and they wanted advice. And his wife said to her husband right in front of me, he goes, well, what do you know about doing this? And I looked at her and I said, oh, nothing. He knows zero. I was like, no one knows how to do something until they do it. Like everyone starts out a beginner, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like almost the culture in dentistry is like I've developed the skill. You can't develop it now. Like that's not okay. Like it's my skill now, not yours. And it's like, how does that benefit patients? We want as many skilled practitioners in the marketplace as possible to seek that are quality to be seeked out by patients, right? I think we have to understand, like, we all started somewhere, right? Like, listen, I'm new to dentistry, only 4 or 5 years now, 4 years maybe. And I remember early on, I was talking to a dentist on a Zoom call. It was like early in my company. And he said, oh yeah, I'm just out of school, but I got my hand speed up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I called Stacy over at Ideal, Stacy Peterson. And I'm like, hey, what's hand speed mean? And she's like, the speed at which they do different treatments. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I didn't freaking know. I was starting in dentistry, right? Like, everyone starts somewhere. You go to an implant CE course, you get a CBCT, you buy all the stuff you need. Now you got to go do some implants to get good at it. Like, this is the way it is. You don't just wake up and you're a pro, right? And I think people forget that they were there once too. Like, rather than attack the person and say, what are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this. Say, hey man, I started out there too. And if you absolutely feel like you can't do it, I'll come help you. Or if you think like you could do it and you're kind of confident, then push yourself and do it. And if you get in trouble, I can come bail you out.
Right.
Like, why does it have to be an attack? Or like, let's say it's okay. Well, we're not anywhere near the guy, right? We're in different parts of the country. You could offer your cell phone number. You can say, hey, I got a buddy near you that can help you. If we had the culture in dentistry of we were trying to benefit everybody, right? Dentistry would be so awesome. One of the other problems with this is this. Dentists believe that other dentists are their competition. They're not.
Right. Yep.
What is their competition is the next vacation, is the car they're trying to buy, some stupid discretionary purchase is competing for that dental money. The reality, guys, is this. Every single person on this planet needs you guys. Every single human on this planet needs a dental professional in their life. And everyone fears you on some level. So it's a target-rich environment, and everyone fears you on some level. Why would we add our own negative resistance barriers inside of our community to all of us getting better and being better together when our consumers, our patients who bring in our revenue, who are also people who it's our mission to help, has their own negative emotions they're bringing into the scenario. So it's like, why are we just not all like trying to do the best we can do to help these individuals? Because the reality is, no one's to believe this. The reality is, in your market, there's probably way more patients who need a dentist than there are dentists to serve them all. No one ever believes that, but it's true. So just be positive about it and everyone help everyone out.
Well, especially if you can market well and capture the people that aren't going to the dentist. I mean, I think, again, that's where it all comes
so
down
much
to
need.
is there's a very large percentage of the population that's not visiting the dentist, that doesn't have dental insurance. And I really, truly feel like that's the main reason for marketing. It's like, okay, yes, do some people switch dentists? Okay. Do some people go to a different dentist because they offer a service that their dentist doesn't? Yeah, okay. But I think that the main reason behind marketing is to try to either capture people that are new to town or patients that just haven't been going to the dentist. And so if we can find ways to lower barriers for them by offering specials and discounts and things like that, by talking about the amenities that we offer, I think that's great. I mean, I don't understand how anyone could have a problem with that. But guys, we're going to wrap this up. Yeah. Thanks for letting me get on my soapbox here for 30 minutes. But My advice to you right now, first of all, is don't be afraid to market. If you're in one of those smaller towns and you're worried about ruffling feathers, just realize, like, I've obviously made some people upset, and I'm still here, and my practices are still doing well. So sometimes you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. And that's always my mentality is you can't be tiptoeing around. You can't be worried about offending everyone. Obviously, like make sure that your marketing isn't like slandering another, office, and make sure that you're being truthful in your marketing. But like, you should not be afraid to market no matter what area or town you're in. And if you make another dentist upset, who cares? You could jump on our podcast and talk about it. We can do this, these sessions here. My other advice is just try to be more patient and more kind to other dentists. I mean, again, at the end of the day, we're in a hard profession. It's not easy doing what we do. It's not easy doing clinical dentistry. It's not easy if you're a practice owner managing the team, meeting patient expectations and demands, dealing with unreasonable people. So, we all could use a break. We all could use a helping hand. We all could use a friend. And just be a little bit nicer to the other docs out there. When they have a question, try to help them out, and let's try to avoid attacking one another if possible. That would be awesome. So,
hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please click like, subscribe, share, and follow. It's really important to me and Dr. Vallo, so we don't take on sponsors. We don't get paid for this. We do this purely for the market. Thank you guys, and have a great day.